Hello, everybody. Lisa Rosenberger was saying, hey, we're going to be in the smaller room today, but I like this. I like that there's a lot of people in here. I think it adds energy. It'll be great for us today. Ramon, thank you very much for that introduction. I appreciate it. But he touched on a couple important things that I think are really going to be the center of what I want to talk to everybody about today. It is local business. It's also entrepreneurship. It's looking at you individually, and I'm going to ask you guys to kind of take inventory of who you are as you go through your college career, as you step out into the working world, and realize the skill set you have, but also realize that every relationship you have, personally, professionally, contributes to who you are as a person, and it contributes to the direction and success of your personal life and your professional life. So thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I think this is a great collaboration between the Chamber, M&M Mars, and the college to provide you opportunities like this, because I know I have learned from a ton of people in my career. There are a lot of business owners that are going to be speaking the rest of this fall and through next spring. So please take the opportunity to be at every one of these that you can, because I think it's a great opportunity that the college provides. As Ramon said, our company, Pulse Direct Incorporated, is based here in Elizabethtown, down at 109 South Market Street. We started at 29 South Market Street. We moved up behind Wise and Kmart, and now we're back downtown. One of the reasons of that was when Mark Sheets and myself purchased the company back in 2006 from the previous ownerships. We were basically decided we were moving out of the building, and we moved back downtown. We were kind of a comprehensive in-house direct mail printing company, focused mainly as postcard power. We designed postcards for companies, we printed them, we mailed them, and we did it all in-house. We had our sales team, our design team, our print facility on the one side of the building, our mail facility in the back, and it was a combined effort. And that was kind of the basis for the company. It started back in 1998. It started with a couple people in a basement of 29 South Market Street. It grew to about 16 overall employees. We have 8 employees currently, and then have more freelance partners. One of the reasons our staff's a little smaller is when we had the ownership transition, we decided not to take the printing press, the mailing equipment, the overhead and the space and responsibility of those machines, and truly the financial investment in those machines. And we kind of now operate as an ad agency where we do sales and design and project manage in-house, and then outsource printing and mailing services and any other info we disperse out into the marketplace. But there are some materials I brought in. Pulse kind of operates as an ad agency. We do anything from web design, online media, video. We do branding and graphic design, logo design for a lot of companies locally, but also at different parts throughout the country. Postcard Power basically is a pure direct mail company. We market out to the niche markets we work in. We market locally, and we market nationwide to companies that, hey, we're somebody who can help you design, print, and mail a postcard. It's pretty straightforward, but we've built a pretty successful business in that, with a focus on colleges, healthcare, pool and spa companies, the security industry, like commercial security companies that do installations, and also residential security, and then a variety of other businesses that come to us along the way and look to us for marketing. 5 years ago, we started Local Marketplace Magazine, which is focused in Elizabethtown, Mount Joy, Marietta, and Maytown. It hits 20,000 homes. We're going into the 5th year of publication with it, It comes out 6 times a year, and the total focus of that magazine is that it circulates, it goes in people's mailboxes within a 5-mile radius of where we sit right here, in all directions. All the advertising in there is locally based, so local residents can learn more about what's in their local community. And our strategic angle with it is every issue has a cover story on a local business, and it tells about the people behind the business, not just the business itself, the people who invested their blood, sweat, tears, money to create an opportunity for themselves, their families, and also their employees. And that has been what has made our publication successful, because people open that to read about the faces that they see on that front cover. And when they do, they learn about why somebody is in business. And that is an important thing, that as you step out, why are you doing what you're doing? Why is your major what it is? Why are you going towards a specific career? Is it something you're passionate about? Is it something that you want to achieve great things in? And that is where you have to look as you step along the way. But people want to know why people do what they do. You know, we have all this technology at our fingertips. I'm kind of 50-50 on the advantages and disadvantages of that, because what I am seeing more and more is people still work with people. There is a lot of marketing, there are a lot of social media outlets, they all contribute, they all feed, but in the end, every single advertiser that's in that magazine has met myself or someone from our company face to face. And when they do, they learn who we are, they learn whether they can trust us just by reading who we are and how we interact with them. They learn what type of individual we are. Are we in their face trying to get them to buy advertising because we want them to spend money with us? Or do they look that we're actually being very conscious of what they're trying to achieve in their business? Because our revenue is driven by helping people make their businesses more successful. We don't make money unless the marketing we do for the companies makes money. So with that, I kind of want to focus on the entrepreneurship side of what I do. I'll tell you, I think as I've gone through the last 6 or 7 years, being an owner, going from being in management to vice president to owning the company, I've become more passionate, but I've also gotten more gray hair. I've also had more stress in my life, but I've also had more reward. And it really has opened my eyes to, you know, I guess maybe in the back of my mind when I graduated back in 1992, I thought, okay, maybe we'll end up owning a company someday, but initially I just wanted to get a job. I just wanted to start somewhere. I just wanted to work 8 to 5, get to the gym, go out after hours with my roommates I moved to York with, and you know, kind of enjoy a couple years. Bought a Jeep Wrangler, drove around with the top down, tried to meet some girls, you know, all those things that, you know, initially like I'm free, I graduated, I'm on my own. And I did start in my major when I got out of college. I went into radio sales. And then I got slapped around and learned what business was all about. But all those things have led me to where I'm at. And the biggest thing I would ask you guys to think about, if you are considering, hey, I want to get out and start something on my own, ask yourself why. You know, what is entrepreneurship? It's kind of tied to the fact that you have knowledge that you've gained through your life to this point. You've learned a lot of technical facts about business. You've also worked on a lot of projects that have allowed you to, you know, implement that knowledge into real-world situations. And I think Elizabethtown does a fantastic job of helping you get there and do those things and come out with the applied skill set. I mean, I'm sure most of you know and most of you have heard, and Dr. Williams probably communicated, 99% of the business graduates are coming out and they're working full-time within 8 months of graduation. That's powerful. That's a testament to the investment you're making here. The thing you want to do is you never stop learning. You never stop positioning yourself. You really come out and you look towards a career to help you set yourself up to have success, to earn an income, to maybe buy a house, to get married, to have a family, to provide for that family, to give yourself meaning and validation that the investment you made in your college career was worth it. But really, you might end up working for somebody. You might end up gaining knowledge in different positions for 10 to 15 years. And then all of a sudden, you might end up in an entrepreneurial role. It is a challenge, but it's one of the most exciting things you could ever do. You know, as you look at things and you move forward, just realize and take inventory of your skill set every so often. If you have an idea, think it through, write it down on paper, put a plan into action, and see where it takes you. And if you know in your gut and you have passion for something, see it through. I'm going to tell you a couple stories about our magazine, but also another owner who's going to be here, I believe, next spring. That used to be my boss. But it was one of those things where there's gut check situations all the way through being an entrepreneur. You know, when do you make a decision to hire employees? When do you make a decision to expand a market? When do you decide to make a step and add another product to your company line? But it really all starts with you making a decision to commit to starting a business. I see a lot of people, and I want to focus in on the Elizabethtown Mountjoy market. There are a lot of people in this community. There are hundreds of entrepreneurs all around you. You know, this is a great forum, but you should never be afraid to maybe take a step outside of yourself and find a company here in town that may match up with something you want to do in your career. Whether you're looking at an internship, whether you're looking to just do a project and learn about that story behind the business, I would invite you guys to engage an owner in the Elizabethtown Mountjoy communities and learn why they do what they do. Sit down with them for an hour. My knowledge base has grown more from not what I know about my company, but what I've learned from the people I go in to meet and talk about their marketing with them. I sat, and I want to invite you because yesterday afternoon I was in a meeting with Papa John's. It's owned by Lancaster Enterprise Group, the franchise here in Elizabethtown. And Papa John's is a great story. It starts from a single individual, John, and I forget his last name, but that built that company from scratch. His dad was involved a little, but they are international now. But Papa John's has systems in place that help their franchisees be so well positioned for success. It's amazing. I learned something yesterday that the average ticket item that is purchased, in other words, if you go into Papa John's and place an order, the average order that is placed at their store here in Elizabethtown is $21.17. And from that, there's a spreadsheet that Frank, who's the owner down there, can look and see what his food costs are, what his employee costs are, what his advertising costs are, tracking where that business came from, and what type of client is spending money with him. All those things help him position to grow his business a little more, to achieve a little more success, to carve out maybe another 50 to 100 grand a year in profit. It was amazing. And at the end of it, as we were going over his ad for our November issue, he handed me a stack of coupons, which I did keep one up here, and asked me if I would drop these off. He's like, we have this great deal for Untitled College students that nobody knows about and they don't take advantage of. It's a 2-liter bottle of soda and a $9.99 large one-topping pizza. So for 10 bucks, you get a large pizza with pepperoni, 2-liter bottle of soda. You have to show your ID. So he asked me to bring a stack of these along today. They're over there on the table. That's what I do for my customers. Takes a little bit of effort, takes 30 seconds of my time, but here's a target market that is right off campus. There's Papa John's. They deliver, they want to work with the college students, and they have a great product. At the same time, they're investing money with me in the magazine this year, and they just contracted for next year. That is networking. That makes all the difference in the world. The fact that I'm following through on something I said I would do for Frank will benefit me in a way I have no idea about yet. Everything you do here on campus, every outreach you do into the community, impacts your life somewhere along the line. So, I will be making sure that every single one of you takes one of those with you. But the whole point of that is you can't go in to a company and ownership or anything where you're investing yourself and your dollars and trying to build a dream for yourself by being selfish. You can't do it. You will crash and burn somewhere along the line. If you don't realize that whatever you do is going to mean success or failure for hundreds and thousands of other businesses and individuals, you'll lose the whole purpose of why you started a company. You'll lose the whole purpose of why you went to work for a corporation, why you took a certain position when you leave here. There are so many 1 and 2 business or 1 and 2 person businesses in this community. There's a massage place right down off the square here in Elizabethtown. She is licensed as a therapeutic massage person. She has a nice little retail space set up. She gives a great massage. She has some good ideas on what she can do to grow her business, but she might not have all the resources financially to invest in a bunch of marketing. She might not be able to do the $4,000 sign outside her building that she'd like to do, but she's making the effort. She might not be able to spend any more than $500 over the course of next year with us. But you know what? We've probably already invested 2 hours with her, talking about ideas, brainstorming. You know what? She could leave tomorrow and go do that ad in the merchandiser. She might not run the magazine. We don't know. But regardless of where that relationship ends up, I know that if she ever talks to another business owner in Elizabethtown, she's going to have good things to say about us. You need to look at yourself individually. There might be situations you're going to encounter conflict with fellow employees. Maybe you go into partnership with somebody. Maybe you have a customer who's angry. It is all in how you handle the difficult situations that will position you for future success. So I just remind you of that in all your relationships. It makes a difference. I have had a lot of people come up to me and mention things about the employees at our company, that were conscientious, that we had a great conversation. You know, I don't know that I can do this, but when I have budget set aside, I want to work with you guys. That is empowering, that's motivating. It gives us the will and the desire to get up and go at it the next day. But you have to invest yourself in people like that because you never know where your success will come back around. These people, there's a lot of great people with great talents out there all across the country, working to make a name, working to make a plan, but we all benefit from each other's knowledge, and that creates success for everybody. And when you look at a magazine like Local Marketplace, I'm very excited right now with this because we've published this for 4 years. Next, in January, that's the start of our 5th year with the magazine. And it's been a grind. We've only been able to dedicate so much time to it. It's really, at this point, about 8 to 10% of our overall business. So sometimes it's difficult to carve out the time to go and talk to the local businesses about it. And it's kind of been one of those things that's been very slow to make a profit. I'll be perfectly honest, it cost us about $6,700 to print that and mail it out to 20,000 homes, every issue. So that's our starting point just for the cost of putting that ink on paper and sending it through the postal system. The worst part of it is the post office gets half of that money right off the bat. They're struggling with their $70 billion they're generating every year, but they're there. So we automatically come out of that gate and need to generate $6,700 in advertising just to be in a break-even situation. And that doesn't include the investment of payroll for salespeople, designers, gas to run back and forth and meet with those businesses face to face. It doesn't include any marketing we might do for the magazine. It doesn't include the overhead to have an office and computers for designers and salespeople to sit at and do that work. All of those things come together. So we've been in a situation where we're generating about $10,000 to $12,000 an issue in total revenue. It's been 16 pages for about a year, and it's like I know the opportunity's right there with it. And it's like, in your gut that, hey, we're making headway. Hey, we're getting a couple advertisers that are bailing on the Clipper magazine and investing money with us. Hey, you know what? Selfishly, and I have a good relationship with Charlie Engel, who owns the merchandiser, but hey, I'm sorry, we're a better looking publication. So there's competition out there, but I've just known, and we've known as a company that there's an opportunity there. Our November issue is jumping from 16 to 28 pages, and we doubled our revenue. It's been sitting there, and it's been a grind, and a grind, and a grind. And we're going into year 5, and you hear a lot of people, they'll say, hey, if you believe in something and in your gut it can work, boom. We just jumped over 20 grand in revenue with that for our November issue. All of a sudden, those numbers shift tremendously. It's going to cost more to print and produce 28 pages. To give you an idea, those costs will jump from probably $6,700 to around $11,000. But at the end of that issue, there's going to be a nice little profit margin coming. And the Lidditz Mannheim issue of that magazine will be out next spring. And if you want my goal is one of two things. Clipper magazine started with one issue. Two brothers, college marketing. They were in college when they brainstormed the idea back in the 70s. They built it. Clipper magazine is in 35 states and sends over 40 million copies out every month in different markets around the country. The Zuckerman brothers just sold that company, I think 2 or 3 years ago, for $200 million. So, why can't I do the same thing? I don't know that I will. I don't know that we will have that level of success. But you know what? I have a unique product that I know has traction. It's taken 5 years to get here, but we've stuck with it. We've had issues we've lost money on. When I factor in all those other costs for payroll, all the other things that go into it, and I see that red number, I know it's still good. There's going to be a black number at the end of this year, and it's going to have a couple zeros behind it. So whatever you do isn't going to happen overnight. Even these people who you hear are making 10 grand a month working from home, hey, they are out there. Some of it's a little fluff to get you to call or do whatever, respond to that half an hour infomercial at 3 in the morning. But there are people that are doing it. But what they won't tell you is it still takes hard work. It isn't that they got there overnight. It might start with $100 a month. It's, do you believe in yourself, and can you stick with something and drive and focus on it to see it through to the end? And I encourage you guys to do that. If you come out of this school and you have a goal in mind and you have a passion and you believe in yourself and you believe in your idea or your company or your opportunity, or even if you're going to work for somewhere else, but you know you're working towards a specific goal, you need to see it through. And it isn't going to be easy. But you will be better prepared than 90% of the people that walk out of a college education. Keep those things in mind. Now, there's value in marketing. And one of those values is that there's 50 million ways to do it. And sometimes you have to focus in. I end up in a lot of conversations. When you look at business and you look at what you're doing, any business involves a certain level of marketing. Say you're a one-person company and it's you, and you're sharing your education, your value. You might not have a budget to do a magazine ad or a postcard or a billboard or go on television. Maybe you can set up your Facebook account and do social media. But in the end, if you are a one-person operation, every single one of you will be that when you walk out this door with a diploma. You are your best marketing tool. Don't forget it. You reach out and you meet people. You set up interviews. Whether you're confident or not, you go in there as confident as you can be. You go in there confident in your skill set. You go in and you say, yes, I can do this job. I can perform this task. Or you're honest. And honesty is as important as anything. If you have the integrity to say, you know what, I don't know how to do that right now, or I don't know the best way to answer that question, but I can tell you I will commit to learning and commit to following through and learning that. You will achieve more success from marketing yourself than anything else you do. And it's funny, last night, Ramon and I were actually both down at the Lancaster Chamber Business Expo. It's today from 9 to 4. But last night they have like a launch party from 5 to 7 p.m. It's a mixer, there's food, there's beverages, people have wine, beer, soda, whatever, and the business owners all get together. It's more of a casual interaction, but there's still a lot of conversation going on, a lot of business being done. And it's interesting. Our booth was in the second aisle, and they have it kind of split into 3 sections. So there's an area of booths here, there's an area of booths here, and there's another one down the line. And we've done this show for probably, bless you, 12 or 13 years. I didn't ever, from 5 to 8:15 p.m. last night, leave the little section of booths I was in right there. We were standing at our booth. I walked up to get a beer the one time, came back. But along the way, I stopped and talked to 4 or 5 different people. Now, Ramon was hanging around a lot last night, too, at our booth. But the interesting part of what happened was, and you observe this, the reason it took me so long to get back to our booth is because I met somebody that I started working with 8 years ago. Then I talked to a guy who used to be the manager at M&T Bank down here on Market Street that just left to go and be the sales manager at Lanco Federal Credit Union. So we talked a couple minutes. He's like, you know what? I hate our website. It stinks. We need a redesign. My light goes on, business. But I've known Steve Turpin for probably 7 years. Never have had an opportunity to talk about business potential with him. He's tried to get us to put our business accounts with M&T Bank for a long time. Never got him. But we always had a good relationship. We always had a good conversation. All of a sudden now, he's asking me to contact his marketing manager about their website. There's the impact. I bounced back to the booth, and Ramon is there with a friend of his, Henry. Introduces Henry to me, introduces Henry to Emily, who works with our company. And then we go to introduce him to Brad Alexander, who owns the Pita Pit down here, and his manager from the Lancaster Pita Pit is with him. And Henry goes, "Oh, I already know her. I'm in there once or twice a week." All of a sudden, Jenna and Henry end up in front of our booth talking. And you talk about that 6 degrees of separation that comes together. There were 7 or 8 people standing around our booth. And the weird thing is, 2 or 3 of them knew each other. 2 or 3 of them met for the first time. But when you went back and looked at it, the relationships that are there have been established for years. But they just extended another level. That's networking. And it will impact your life in ways you will never know, but it's something you should always be doing, because you never know when that person you met 5 to 10 years ago can become your biggest customer, can become the person who calls you up and because they know who you are as a person, they know your skill set, and they offer you a job when you need it the most, or they offer you an opportunity to be promoted. When you look at marketing, just remember, people buy you. They buy you as an individual. They buy you as a person. They buy you based on the trust, honesty, and commitment you bring to them. They buy you as a communicator. They buy you as a business graduate from Elizabethtown College. Every interaction you have is an opportunity to have something happen as far as a transaction. It may or may not involve money. It may or may not involve a job. It may or may not involve an indirect link that benefits your family in some way or another. You just never know. You also need to stand out among the others. And I will tell you, I don't care if you're in IT and you sit behind a computer desk all day and you only have to pick up your phone once or twice. I don't care if you're like Ramon and I are, or Dr. Williams are, where we're talking to people every single day, at length, in depth, several people, interacting with the community. The positive attitude you bring, how you poise yourself in difficult situations, and your acceptance of everybody that you interact with, because you meet all different personalities. Some you're going to like, some you won't. But your acceptance of people and trying to help them and work towards the goals they have individually or as their business will make a huge difference in your life, will make a huge difference in your income. It will benefit you beyond what you can imagine. So keep your eyes open to networking. The last thing I'd like to cover is be self-aware. Take inventory of your life. Make sure as you're looking at where you want to go out of here, and you know, no one has a perfect plan. It changes along the way. It's going to. You just need to stay committed to your goals. If you don't know exactly what that direction is, do things that instinctively you feel are in your best interest, and you'll end up where you want to go. It may take longer to get there. It might not be on your timeline that you have in your head. I wasn't getting married till I was 30. I ended up married at 25, and that wasn't part of my plan, but I'll tell you what, I love my wife. And I'm glad I did it then, because I might have lost her. And now that wife of mine of 17 years, now that our kids are in school, is helping me in the business a couple days a week. So now I have a unique opportunity that really hasn't happened until this past year to have my family involved in the business, have them helping towards a common goal and success for the employees, the community, and our family. But, you know, look at what your goals are. Look at who you are individually. Extend yourself beyond what you're comfortable with. If you know, hey, I want to be a photographer when I get out and have my own business, then make sure you're out there talking to other photographers and learn what they encountered and the frustrations they've had to get where they are today. Every success story has some bad news mixed in with it. Every success story has bumps in the road. But keep sticking with your plan. And again, realize that if you find something that's your life's work, your biggest benefit is becoming more and more and more and more knowledgeable in your area of expertise, because then people will look to you to help them. You'll see more success at 30, 35, 40 years old. And I'll tell you, the biggest thing, Emily, who works at our office, she's a Lock Haven grad, business degree, marketing minor, 22 years old. And I start to realize that, okay, I was graduating college when she was born, and I'm like, oh my gosh, where'd it go? But it's really difficult. I still feel like I'm a green salesperson going out to sell radio advertising in York, Pennsylvania when I was 22. All of a sudden I realize I have 20 years of expertise and people rely on me to help them with their marketing. And they're entrusting me with their dollars that they could be putting in their pocket, but they're investing them with our company. You don't take it lightly, but you're going to find along the way that, oh my gosh, look at the skills I've acquired. Look at the value I bring to somebody. Sell that value to people. Let people know what your skill set is and what your passion is, because it will set you apart from other people out there. I do want to thank everybody for giving me the opportunity. I'm glad to take questions. I did bring along some of our materials there. You can see the magazine. We work a lot with colleges, so I brought a college marketing piece along that we send out to admissions to kind of engage them that, hey, if you have projects coming up as you're trying to recruit that next class, you can work with us at Postcard Power. You can see a card we did, I think it was possibly last fall, or it might have been this spring. I think it was last fall for Elizabethtown College. We've worked with them for 12 years. The value of that relationship has been over $100,000 to us in the last 12 years. I'm glad to give back a little bit today. So I invite you to take those pieces, get an idea of what we do. We are open to interns as well. So if you have an interest at some point, or you think that marketing might be something you want to learn, or you just want to shadow for a day, or come in for an hour and talk with us to learn a little bit more, see what we do, I welcome that. So I want to thank you guys for attending. Any questions? There we go. It's Friday. Dr. Williams, do you have anything you want?
Any questions? Nobody has a question? Nobody has a question?
All right.
Well, let me,
Do you want to wrap up?
this is a little gift here, Chris.
All right.
On behalf of M&M Mars and the business department, thank you very much
All
this
right.
morning.
I appreciate it.
And
Okay. Thank you.
and then we have the group that'll take you to lunch.
Sounds
and then,
good.